Morning, everybody. It is 8:11 a.m., July 11th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, I'm about to be honest, I was shocked by how far we went higher yesterday. But I can't be that shocked if you see the internals yesterday. I mean, every sector up. I mean, just got stronger and stronger as the day went on. Side note, because Powell was talking, I saw a pullback specifically in the Qs and the SPY, but in the Qs and I was literally sitting over my mouse. But Powell was still talking, and it pulled back into the demand zone, ES and Nasdaq, and I was like, I could get long here right now, pull back to 499. I'm like, I kind of like it, but then I'm like, you know what? Powell's still talking, and then I said, you know what? Let me just take a walk. Well, that would have been a great trade. But that's trading. I mean, it just comes with the territory, right? I mean, it's is what it is. It seems like it always happens that way. When I don't take it, and I'm like, oh, I like it, but Powell's talking. The day before Powell talked, it was garbage. So this is how it works. It's how it works. You just gotta let it slide off your, slide off, because every day is a different opportunity. Now today, right now the volume's crap. So let's look at that relative volume right now. It's not good. We got, let's make this a little better here. 79% relative volume in ES, 56% in NASDAQ. That is not good. I'm sure CPI, you'll have the spike at 8:30. But right now, horrible. Hopefully, because see, yesterday had such a big move. Yesterday had such a big move that I don't know what we could do today, unless the market, unless the CPI is hot. So we really have to see, right? Just yesterday was a overall breath push. Finally, other days it was not. Okay, this market's nuts, very overextended, but that does not mean anything. It's momentum right now. It's momentum. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. I could think, oh my God, we're overextended, but again, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. That is so true. So true. All right, so welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez, and I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with gamma exposure, supply and demand, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That's my baby. That's my foundation. That's what I look at. That's where I draw my scenarios up for long short plays. Obviously, I use a bunch of other stuff when the market opens. That's when I go to my market internals. All right. And we'll take a look at that in a second. And basically, I have a pre-game plan, right? Pre-market. And then once I'm done with you guys, I do gamma levels, and then I have other key levels with my gamma levels. But then once that market opens, now it's all about what is the market doing? What's the guts of the market doing, right? So let's look at the internals. I just want to show you something. All right. Just want to show you this. All right. So you can notice all these sectors up here are from the open. They're not from the previous day's close. All right. I want to see what's hot off the open. I don't care about yesterday's close. All right. When everything's dark green, that means it's at least a 0.5% higher off the open. So all these are dark green, right? Except staples. And even that was light green. Okay. So everything was firing. Now I just want to show you something. This is an awesome indicator. I love it. It's basically how I really look at the market. Okay. Now this is called the weighted AD. Right? It's from Shadow Trader. That's where you can get it. And it's very important because this shows you, these bars show the actual weights, the market cap weighted stocks that move the market. Okay, so those bars are market cap weighted bars. They take into account, if you notice up here, Infotech's 32.4% of the market, S&P, the weight, financials 12.4, healthcare 11.7, consumer discretionary 10%. So that's 10, say it's 12, that's 22, that's, what is that, 35. It's almost 60 something percent of the market is in these top four sectors. Add another 10 for communications, right? So where these bars go is where the market's going to go. Now look at the strength of yesterday. It just grew and grew and grew. And I was looking to short, but when these were growing and growing, I'm like, what am I shorting here? Stupid. Now look, what I want to show you. Look at the previous day's action, right? Now this white line, picture this white line, and that's basically an unweighted line. Okay? Unweighted. So that's the overall market if it was not market cap weighted. So notice like this white line doesn't always follow the market cap weight. Okay, but yesterday they were in lockstep with each other and it was just bullish. You can see how benign these readings were the day before, right? Like overall market breadth was weaker than the market cap. The day after that, the overall market was stronger than the market cap weighted. See how they can really change? Because the market at this day, the SPY was at the highs, the Qs was at the lows. And then they met. Yesterday, big. Look at this move. That was just continually trending higher. And it was bullish. All right? Continually trending higher. Craziness. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. Why don't we get right into the watch list here? The futures watch list. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to change at 8:30, so we'll just go over it. Bitcoin making a comeback. All right, up 2%. People are buying these dips in Bitcoin. Ether up 1.11. VIX up 0.93. People are hedging a little bit before CPI. That makes sense. Silver's up 0.55. Gold's up 0.29. 10-year yield hasn't reported yet. Will in 8:20. That will change though with CPI and jobless claims. Crude's flat. Russell up down 0.05. 30-year bonds down 0.08. Nasdaq's down 0.13. ES down 1.1. ES down 0.17. The dollar is down 0.18 and the Dow is down 0.18. Okay. Moving on to the Mag 7 Plus, my newly updated one. Let's look at it. No surprise, Coinbase is up 0.66 with Bitcoin. Tesla still trucking along there, unbelievable. Up 0.29. Broadcom, that split's coming, up 0.3. That's about it. And then you got some laggards here. We got, whoa, Netflix just dropped down. Nvidia down 0.5. Netflix down 0.54. Apple down 0.44. AMD down 0.40. Now Apple got some like I will go into it. They had some news, that's why they're pushing down. That's what I'm seeing there. I mean, am I missing one? No, I'm not. Okay, let's move on to the top sector stocks. Okay, Costco got a price target raise, and it's just a monster. And what I can't stand is in 2022, I remember Costco came down to 405, I want to say, and I was waiting to buy it at 400, and I was just like, should I? Should I? But that's the story with a lot of stocks, right? Walmart pushing, McDonald's coming off a low. All right, laggards. Let's just talk about this one. PepsiCo had bad demand. Didn't really like not beat earnings, but like it's just saying there's low demand. So it's tanking a little bit, but it's at a key support level. So let's see if that gets bought up when the market opens. Okay. Now let's look at the swings. What we got moving here? SoundHound up 4.93%. MicroStrategy's up 4.2. Now they just mentioned a 10 for 1 stock split. So that stock's going to be $136 if it stays around this price soon. All right. You got Alcoa, you got the Bitcoin ETFs up. Atlassian got an upgrade. GameStop's up. Mara, of course. Spotify got an upgrade. Riot, Taiwan Semiconductor got good news. SoFi, Gold Junior Miners, Macy's. All right, those are the pushing up there. Let's see a laggard. Delta Airlines just reported, I guess, bad earnings. So Viking Therapeutics, I believe, down 5.62. American Airlines, I believe, down in sympathy with Delta. United Airlines down. Southwest Airlines down. JetBlue. This is all in sympathy. Citibank's down. Shopify's down percent. Norwegian Cruise Lines, Carnival Cruise Lines. I think that's Marriott. So I guess some like stuff to go traveling with from Delta Airlines, maybe. Okay, that's what's going on there. Let's go to the sectors. Sectors wise, who's leading the pack? Staples. That's weird. But it's Costco though, because Pepsico is Staples too. But Costco's driving that right now, followed by utilities, and then we got some laggards, semis, financials, and technology. This should change with CPI. Okay. Now let's go over to some market news and what we have coming up with our numbers here. So what do we have today? We have CPI. So the core inflation, all right, year over year number 3.4. We're expecting 3.4. So if this comes in soft, like 3.3, 3.2, the market's gonna like that. All right, in line. I don't think the market does much, but the core inflation's not expected to go down. That would be something if that goes down, right? This market could push higher. It's nuts. Now the headline number is previously 3.3. They're expecting a 3.1, so they're expecting a zero point 0.2 reduction. Okay. So remember, core not expecting a change. Year over year, they're expecting a change. Okay. Now jobless claims is also coming out. We're expecting 236. All right. Previous 238. Now we also have a 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. That's been moving the markets lately. So you got a lot of stuff coming out at 8:30. All right. That's 7 minutes away. 7 minutes away. And we'll look at that live together. All right. Let's look at some news here. PepsiCo, soft drinks giant released disappointing second quarter revenue hit by declining demand. See, so that's fallen. Delta Airlines stock slumped 9.5 after the carrier forecast lower profits in the current quarter than expected, citing discounting pressure in the low end of the market. Apple, after the tech giant reached an agreement with EU antitrust regulators to allow access to its tap and go payments technology to rivals. That's why that's down. Alcoa, that's the aluminum giant. That's why they're up. Costco, they're up after the warehouse retailer announced plans to increase annual membership fees. There you go. They have not did that. I noticed this since 2017. So that's going to be more revenue for the company. They refused to do that for a while. That's why they don't like make their pizza and their hot dogs more. Spotify stock rose 1.2 after Jeffries assumed coverage of the music streaming service with a buy rating, saying it's increasingly confident in its ability to comfortably deliver sustainable 50% plus revenue growth over the next 3 years. There you go. That is some little nuggets right there. Now, let's look if there's the upgrades here. Upgrades, downgrades. Let's look at that. Let's go to the upgrades first. We have upgrades Atlassian. That's ticker team. They got an upgrade from equal weight to overweight. Price targeted to 11. Okay. Downgrades. Let's see here. Why are some stocks moving or not? Let's go. ON, a semi, got a downgrade. That's why that's down. Okay. Now let's go with some initiations. DoorDash initiated at a sector weight. Not much else to report there. Let's see price target changes. Let's go by target raises. Let's see here. We have Dutch Bros target raised 30 to 36. Kava price target raised from 90 to 100. Costco from 874 to 962 and 975. That's about it. Planet Fitness also got target raised from 80 to 89. Now let's look at the target lowered. Estee Lauder target lowered. What else here? Ulta Beauty target lowered. Interesting. That stock's been getting hammered lately. Okay. That does that. Now, let's see if I have other news for you guys. I do not. Okay. We got 4 minutes, folks. I don't even know if I need to show you this, but we will go to it. Let's go to the daily chart. There's not much to report there because everybody knows what happened yesterday. Right there. And we had a 2-day consolidation that led into another breakout. So we can consolidate it for 2 days and then just lift it off, making new all-time highs. Where are we now? 560.75. We pulled back a little bit, waiting for the CPI to come out in like less than 3 minutes now. That's what that did. Qs. Let's look at the Qs. Same thing, all-time high. 502.77, 502.77. Yeah, we're pulled back a little bit. We're back to close of yesterday. All right. So, let's look at, I'm going to go to an hourly chart here of the ES so we can look at this together. Now, one thing to note, all right, that I'll show you guys in the meantime that I think is pretty good. So here's the hourly charts. That's what we're going to be concentrating on. You can see my little relative volume indicator in the bottom left. Now, if I bring you over really quickly to my market profile, we have less than 2 minutes. I'm going to show you guys something. There's a lot of poor structure from yesterday's move. Single prints and that volume. See the most traded prices all the way down at like 564, 556.54, 56.44. And then it just didn't really consolidate much and moved up with single prints, right? Really didn't. That's very poor structure. Didn't really consolidate much. So if this number's hot, we can clean a lot of this up, but I don't know. Okay. So that news is popping soon. Nope. It's coming out in 20 seconds, folks. And we will pop over to the calendar to see when this updates what we're working with here. 5 seconds. Boom. All right, what do we have? The market likes it. What do we have here? All right, we're pushing up. So let's go to the results here. We have, there it is. That's what I said it just before. Core inflation tick lower, 0.1. So we were expecting it to be in line, and core went down. And we were expecting 3.1 on CPI year over year headline, and we got 3.0. So the market, this is bullish. Okay, this is bullish. Jobless claims aren't going to really matter at this point. They're expecting 236. They got 222. You want that to be higher generally, but the CPI is going to take over. So there you go. There you go. Jesus. Unbelievable. Because you know what this means? The Fed might cut. That's all this means. Now, the big shocker would be is on bullish news, this starts to come back. I'm not saying that happens, but that would be pretty nuts if it did. All right. Now Bitcoin's really running up. It's going to test that 60K level soon. Bitcoin is ramping up right now. So right now, if I show you, let's look at these, okay? Wow, the market's loving this right now. Let's look at all our indicators, right? Bitcoin up 3.21%, right? That's not the key. What you want to know what the key is? Look at the bottom. The dollar is down 0.58. That's bullish for equities, okay? 10-year yield is almost down 2%. This is the big key right now. Triple-headed monster. You feel me? Triple-headed monster's in full effect right now. 10-year yield down 1.89%. The dollar is down. The VIX is down 2.33%. That's bullish. Okay? Right there. Let's look at a chart of that. All right? Let's look at that 10-year yield. Now, we can look at futures real quick, which would be crazy. There it is. There's futures. That's the ES pushing up. That's the NASDAQ pushing up. All right? No shockers there. But the 10-year yield, look at that puppy right here. Look at that big red candle. Going to test this support here at 4.18 yield. You break that, you probably got this swing low over here at 4.03. Now this should really propel Russell. The Russell's been really lagging, and it is. Okay, it is. It's propelling the Russell right now. You could even look at the Russell. Look at that Russell go. Now look at the Russell's consolidation. This is going to have a big move. Okay? I talked about that possible straddle. I never put it on, but that's that, right? So the 10-year yield is tanking. Okay? Utilities also should love this, but it's not getting as much love as I thought it would. But all right, so that's the 10-year yield's tanking. All right, now we get Yex for that triple-headed monster. Is that dollar? Is that dollar? Okay. Now let's look at that dollar together. Dollar. Look at that candle. Boom. This is good for commodities and equities. A weaker dollar is good. Okay. Triple-headed monster in effect. All right. We got our VIX. Now the VIX is already dead. I mean, there's not much fear, so it's just taken off the little de-risking from this number. All right. So no fear. No fear. Dollar lower. Yields lower. Stocks higher. That's all I got to say. That's it. That's really it. What do you do with this number? What do you do? How do you game plan around this now? I mean, it's not easy. It's really not easy. Not easy at all. All right. Even if we look now at the the Fang or the Mag 7 Plus now, look at the difference now. Coinbase almost up 2%. Nvidia's up 1.45. Snow, Broadcom, Tesla's almost going to touch 270. GE and Netflix, the only laggers. Right? Wow, PepsiCo's really tanking. Really tanking here. All right, you're going to throw Staples out. But that's a pretty stable company. I don't expect it to fall much lower. Interesting that United Healthcare and Pep are down here. pretty crazy. Go back to futures. Look at that Russell, up 1.64%. The gold, really bullish for gold. Pretty crazy. Okay. Now, as far as this chart goes, right? Look at the poor structure. Now, look, this is the consolidation that we broke out of. Here's single prints from yesterday. That's emotional buying right here. Whoop. Like I said, there's a wick coming in. This would be nuts, okay? But it could this bullish news, if this comes back and takes out this range, wow, bullish news becomes bearish price action. Wow. This is all poor structure right here. I mean, look at these. This is 1 hours, right? So they barely even overlapped each candle. Very, very poor structure. Again, I'm not telling you I'm just shorting, but it's just it's an observation. All right, that's an observation. Now let's look at the Nasdaq. It's pretty similar structure here. See, the single prints are all below. I just put this trend line in. It's been honoring this trend line as well. So it just, I mean, the market has moved so much right now. It's just a weird day. It's really weird. You can see relative volumes really pushing up right now at 117% in the ES, 72% only in the Nasdaq. But what's there to do after this move? I mean, I'm not excited to short it. I'm not excited to go long either. So we have to kind of devise some kind of plan. All right. Just crazy. The only thing I'm going to do here, this is the Nasdaq. I could probably go to like let's see, a 12-hour chart. Let's see if that gives me a demand zone that I really want to put in there. Yep. And this demand zone right there that I'm going to put in there. So I'm going to make that right there, copy that, paste it, and we got our nice 12-hour demand right there. I set an alert on that puppy. Basically, this, you would call that the scene of the crime from the CPI. The scene of the crime demand. I like to set a repeatable alert. And then I actually have my voice come on tell me we're in the Nasdaq demand. So that's 12-hour demand. Right there. Oh, I gotta watch the pullback if it gets there. Okay, might not even get there. Alright, now let's go to our ES. I'm gonna do the same thing. We'll go to 12-hour. I don't usually go to 12-hour, but it works in this case. And then we'll come up with some type of game plan. I'll show you what we do on these types of days. Here we go, same process, set my alerts. Seeing some of my process in the mornings here, this is what I do. And then we go right to that 1 hour. And we got our demand. Now, this is, like I said, it's a little difficult because, like, who wants to go long? I mean, really, who really wants to go long on this chart? I mean, it's so extended. So, like I said, this could be profit taking, and we ripped down through this range. Whew. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, so right now, I'm going to flip it over to market profile here. Let's flip it over. Let's check out our structure. Let's do that. I'll show you guys how I plan to use this market profile. Okay, so we got a big gap up. Okay, so we're going to check structure out. Let's look at this. All right, so we had our value area. This is what I'm talking about. All right, we're overextended, but we've been overextended. This is just how you use this. Most traded price of the week for 56.32. Notice thin volume, have a little bit here. That's because of waiting for CPI, and then we're pushed out up to here. Okay. Market needs to move the most traded price of the week up here to really have staying power. Because if it can't, you're going to go back. Now this market is very overextended. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. Okay. So how do we look at this? How do we really look at this? Like I said yesterday, most traded price of yesterday was here. And look at all that thin volume. Okay. It's not the best foundation. Not the best. Okay. So this is pulling back now. So this is very interesting. Okay, so here's our gap. Here's our yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. Right there. Overnight low, overnight high. Okay, you can see the thin volume up there. All right. Now, if this market was not on all-time highs, I really have to see how this shapes. It really works out here. Okay, how it really works out here. So every time you have gap rules, right? Now, what I like about this is pulling back. Okay, this could probably be profit taking. Like, hey, let me get the profit now. So psychologically, if I was long, and I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I wait for the open, but I don't know. So you're gonna look for scenarios, right? I'm gonna go from most bullish to least bullish. So number one, gap and go. We open, we go. Number two, you don't fill the gap and you go. Number three, you fill the gap and you go. You pull back, fill the gap, right? Now what if we go back into range? That's a little less bullish, right? Now you do have this monster scene to the crime demand zone here. Okay. That's the defense for the bulls. It's all about this demand zone, single prints. It's perfectly lines up here. Okay. So what do we have here? Now, single prints, right? They are emotional buying. So it's one-way traffic. Now I'm going to show you guys real quickly what that means in market profile. So if I split out yesterday's session, okay, it's only all that market profiles is 30-minute bars. All single prints is each 30-minute period is called a TPO, and it signifies a letter. So the first 30 minutes is A, second 30 minutes is B. That's it. All this single prints means is in the 30-minute period, the market never, the next 30-minute period never retested this area. It's one-way traffic. See that? See how they don't overlap? That's what that means, okay? So that's very poor foundation, very weak structure. Single prints are weak, okay? But you look at them two ways. Let me explain. Okay? Look at the single prints two ways, and I'm going to show you this. All right, so what's the first way? Well, the first way is if the market's weak, it should not act as support. It should rip through them. Okay? Market's weak, should rip through them. Now, Conversely, if single prints, now you have demand and single prints here, if they act support and you find support in them, that is very bullish because they should not be support. That's how you read those. Okay, so we do have a setup here where single prints and demand zones right here with the overnight high, overnight low. Market needs to defend this. Now see how we have single prints formed in the overnight? Very thin volume. Okay, but I'm not interested in gap and goes. That's not my style. I don't. The risk to reward is not in my favor. Okay, now I got a game plan. Okay, two markers we want to talk about is the overnight lows 56.77 lines up with this demand zone in single prints. All right, bulls got to defend that. Second is 56.65. That's the 50% retracement. That's the midpoint of yesterday's session. That's the last line of defense right there. 56.65. That is the Fibonacci. 50% retracement of yesterday's session. In futures, you just call it the midpoint. Okay, so here's the midpoint of the overnight. We're coming to test that, but that's almost like I'd wait for the gap fill. Now, plan is coming to fruition. All right, plan is coming to fruition. So let's get into it. Remember, I do this live with you. This isn't all pre-planned at all. All right, so what do we got? I'm gonna wait for what? See what happens when the market gap fills. If we test yesterday's highs, I want to see what happens. There's single prints here, right? All I care about today is, all right, you can go up, you can do whatever. I want to see what you do at the gap fill, how strong the market is. You could do that. That's not my favorite. All right, I'd like a push up. I'd like to clean these single prints out in the overnight and test this area. Like I said, here's the most traded price of the overnight. 2, I want to see what we do in this demand in single prints. Now, these are not perfect areas. So let's say, now I'll give you the prime. I would like to see this, a push in. You don't clean the single prints. Hold this demand higher low, and the market starts getting stronger. Well, then you can get a nice move higher. Okay. There's also scenarios where sometimes it does this. It kind of does like a bear trap, and it will do this real quick and then recover higher low higher. That's also bullish. That's probably all I'd be interested in. If we make it down to the 50% retracement, I don't know if I'm going to be super ecstatic to take that, but it could possibly, and you could bounce as well. I'm not ecstatic about that. Okay, now conversely, the bear scenario. Okay, now look at this, market's pulling back. Like I said, what do you do with this? You keep going long, right? So what I want to see, if I'm a bear, really at the end of the day, is what I want to see is this. All right, let's say even the market's really pulling back right now. So this is, like I said, very interesting. Bullish news could be bearish, and that's very bearish. All right, so here's your gap fill. Okay, what I want to see is the market push up, try to fill this gap, even bounce a little bit. Now, what I want to see is this. I want to see us come through most traded price of the overnight right here, probably drive to these single prints. Then I want to see it take out this demand. Then I want to see it hold here, accept prices here. Because if it does, and the market overall gets weaker and weaker, that has the chance to take out this weak structure and clean the single prints. Go back to yesterday's most traded price demand zone here, and if it gets really weak, you rip it up and you go back to the most traded price of the week at 56.32. Now look what's happening right now. We're about to fill the gap. So think about that. We were all the way up here. Bullish news. But the market's so overbought. People are going to start taking some pride. We just filled the gap. This is very bearish. Now, this is filling the gap, so you're going to get a bounce like you did right now. This is very interesting. Now, if you guys know about the unknown market wizards, I want to get his name wrong, but his name is Mark Shapiro. He does the crowded market report. He's a contrarian, and he always says when you have bullish news but bearish price action, that's where he wants to go short. So he uses the commitment of traders to trade with. All right, so very interesting. Okay, remember, you take this out, hold, hold, hold. Whew, it could be a very steep fall. All right, that is your ES. Let's move over to the NASDAQ. Okay, now let me just say that was your scenarios for the ES. I forgot to put that up there. Okay, now we go to the NASDAQ. Now let's look at the NASDAQ structure. It's going to be very similar. So, very similar. See how you're cleaning these single prints right now? This little white is going away. Okay, so let's move on to the NASDAQ. Getting excited here because there's something to do maybe. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ together. Let's go to our volume profile. Here we go. Got value area here. Most trader price is still down here at 2206, about 26 here, right here. Right? Now look at the volume. I want to show you guys something very important. Notice the volume is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Running out of steam. Okay? Price is above this, but what did I say before? This most trader price needs to move up here to sustain. You want value to follow price, because if value does not follow price, price returns to value. Okay, that's how it works. That's how it works. Okay, now look at this. The difference in the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ is relatively weak to the ES. The ES just filled its gap. Look at the NASDAQ. All right, you had your pop up, right? You have your weak structure from yesterday. Most trader price here. Okay, so it's not exactly the same. But what is the same is this consolidation, the scene of the crime demand here. So overnight low is right here with this demand. Most trader price of the overnight is right here. Bulls got to defend this. What is that level? Around 208.53. 208.53. Bulls, you need to defend that. Because what do you have underneath that? Poor structure. Single prints. Single prints. So, look at this. What happened? Look at this. What happened? Rocketed up. All that has been taken back. Okay. This could be the wick. Right. Now, usually overnight highs are not secure, but this is a little different because it's a news event. This could be the wick. This signifies the high for the summer. I'm not calling for that, but I'm just saying it could be. Okay. So, what do we have here? Same kind of setup I'm going to talk about. Not the structure is not exactly the same. Okay. Because we're inside yesterday's range. We're not gapping up like the ES was. Right? And you're back to this most traded price of the overnight, which is 208.78. Okay? So, it's all about this overnight low and this demand. It's really what it's about. Okay? So, now I'm a little more excited. All right? So, we're going to get right into this. Right into scenarios right now, because I don't need to talk about the same stuff, what single prints are, all that stuff. And this is not ES, this is NASDAQ. Let's change that to NASDAQ. All right? So, all we're going to talk about now, here's the bull. All right. I don't love longing at these like extended levels. All right. So, here you go, bulls. This is on you to defend this area. Now, you do have these single prints. I will say, you probably can extend this to this. Okay. Meaning, what what we could do is we can push up. If we pull back in here and we get one of these, you could just do this, right? Now, also, remember what I said, single prints should not be support. If they are, it's very bullish. So even if you take this out, it could be a little bull trap here. If you go into these singles, you don't clean them, and you go like this, higher low, you could move up. I don't think you're going to go super high. You could balance off. Try to move that most trader price up here. All right, your midpoint, your 50% retracement of yesterday is 208.10 right here, right at the end of that single print. So that's the last line. Okay. Now, I'm going over that quick because I'm not a fan of that as much. But I will play it if I do see strength in the market underneath. Okay. Now, let's look at the bear's case here, right? Bear's case. Same thing as before, what I said. You need to see this taken out, this demand. All right. So let's say in bear's case, push up. All right. Come back. Now remember, most traded prices, the overnights here. These are long sitting in here. So what's going to happen in this demand? Probably going to get a pop. This would probably test the bottom of this demand and the overnight lows here. You want to see this demand taken out. Okay. Even if you pull back into these singles and go like this, but you hold, hold, hold. You want to hold underneath this. That will propel a move to clean these single prints, test yesterday's most traded price, and probably go down to yesterday's lows. If it's super weak, you go down to the most traded price of the week at 206.26. Okay. So I'm really going to look at my market internals to see what's going on there. All right. That's your NASDAQ. All right. Very simple today. We have a plan now. Okay, let's just look real quick at the ES. Is the ES now into yesterday's range? It is. So the ES is filled the gap. So we're back to the range. In demand right now, actually. So we got something to watch today. All right. So that's it for me today. Hopefully you enjoy this content. Please subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. All right. And please, if you have questions, ask me. Comment. Please. Chat. Please. Comment, please. All right. And if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up or a like. That'd be much appreciated. G-Man. Cool. And of course, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. Of course, I keep forgetting of adding my other stuff in there, Instagram and TikTok and stuff. This is the market we're in right now, folks. So everybody, please stay patient. We got our plan. We got our plan, and just gotta be patient. I don't know how the volume's gonna look at the market opens. I don't know. Hopefully, it's good. All right. So, wish everybody luck today. Stay green. Stay patient. Remember, just that price action can fool you. All right. I know better than anybody that price action can fool you. So, if you don't hear from me for the rest of the day, have a great day, and I'll see everybody tomorrow morning.